Okay, so this is about three conversations. The first conversation is with the girlfriend, then one conversation with a doctor, then back to the conversation with the girlfriend. And so what had happened was a couple months ago, I wanted to write a big book, make sort of this new landmark big encyclopedic book, but I really didn't have much time. And the girlfriend said, you write too long of books. Nobody wants to read them. Nobody can afford them. Why don't you write shorter books? So I said, okay. So I cranked out these short books. I started with Prevent and Reverse Diabetes, and Prevent and Reverse Hypertension, Prevent and Reverse Obesity, and I just wrote another one, Prevent and Reverse Stroke and Heart Attack. And she read them, and she's like, your books are too difficult. They start out good, but they're too complicated. A regular person can't understand them. And I said, well, so what? A regular person's a functional illiterate. They're not going to read my book. I write my books, for smart people. I don't write for dummies. There's no point in writing for people who don't read. Girlfriend. Well, the middle part of your book is too difficult. Even a smart person, if they don't have medical training, they probably can't understand. I go, well, if they're interested in it, they'll probably be able to understand it. And I make all these videos for free. I start out easy and I basically tell them, here's why you have a disease. Here's what you can do to get better. Here's why some treatments work, some don't. Then I go into detail in the middle of the book to help them understand it. And also, so if anybody tries to dissuade them from my recommendation, they're solid. They understand, the pathophysiology, the research. If they want that, it's there. Their understanding is solid. They can't be talked out of it. And then at the end, it gets easy again. I just go into diet and lifestyle recommendations. So girlfriend's like, well, maybe you should make the book shorter, like only 100 pages, 130 to 100. And I say, 130, 170 pages is pretty short for a book. It's full of pictures and diagrams. That's the best I can do in this context, okay? I don't have that much time to write these books, and that's all I could do, okay? And the pages are about 8 by 10, so it's a reasonable size. They're full of pictures. You never can do everything you want with a book. You just can't. Like an internist previously told me, you should, consider, not having these religious paintings. You should not consider not having all these jokes and that sort of thing in your book. I'm like, if I took out all the jokes, all the religious paintings, all the metaphors, all that stuff, my book would be generic crap. It wouldn't be fun. It is the way it is because I think that's the way to make it best. Okay, so anyways, now here's conversation number 2. This is with an internal medicine doctor. This is a different conversation, just him and me. He says, you charge too much for your books. Each one of these books is about $25. He goes, that's too much. People don't want to pay that much for a book. Nobody's going to buy that. And I go, well, then so what? Okay, I don't really care. I don't make any money with these books. And he says, people would expect those prices to be lower. And I said, look, people go to the drugstore every week and they spend more than $25 on drugs that don't work, okay? I give them the cure in the book for 25 bucks. I think that's reasonable. And I got lots of videos on my YouTube. They're all free. Nobody needs to buy the book. They can learn just about everything. The book's not the same as the videos, but they can learn it if they put an effort into it, everything they want to learn from my videos. And the internist says, well, I would say, though, it's good to have the books because I think you're going to get kicked off of YouTube soon. And that way, if a person has the book, they got a hard copy of it. And I'm like, yeah, well, I wish I could post my stuff at other video channels. I know you think I should do that, but I just don't have time. And then the internist says to me, he goes, Pete, you're smart at medicine, but you're kind of stupid at a lot of other things in life. You're stupid about how you're handling your videos, and I think you're kind of stupid about social stuff. You let your ex-wife make a chump out of you. But I do think that God is using you as an idiot savant for medicine so that your books get written and they tell the truth about health and Christianity. So I do think you're doing God's work. You're doing something useful. So despite your problems, I think you're doing the right thing with your time and your life by doing all this medical, health, nutrition stuff and making your YouTube channel. I'm like, well, thank you. That was very nice. Okay, now a new conversation. This is conversation number 3. This one's again with the girlfriend. I told my girlfriend that I was getting hassled at Trader Joe's. It happened twice in a row when I was by myself at Trader Joe's. I got hassled over there. I'm checking out and they started asking me questions. Why are you buying that? Why are you buying that? And I'm like, what do you care? It's my purchase. I'm giving you money, so just, piss off, leave me alone. And they were very strange about it, interrogating me at the checkout. This happened twice at Trader Joe's. And I talked to my girlfriend who had grown up in a communist country, and I said, you know what? they're hassling me at Trader Joe's, asking me weird questions about my food. There's something strange going on. She goes, you take everything too personally. You take yourself too seriously. No one cares what you eat. You're not that well known. You have no significant effect on consumer spending or politics or anything. This is America. No one cares what you do. And I said, well, I worry about it. It ain't normal to be interrogated at the checkout line at the grocery store like what they did to me at Trader Joe's. This happened at Trader Joe's in Orland Park, Illinois, on LaGrange Avenue near 149th Street. Okay, and it happened twice in a row. And so I said, okay, well, let's see what happens. Why don't you come with me next time? So I went back to that store, actually 2 more times with my girlfriend. Both times, the store manager comes up to me and starts hassling me at the checkout. They're not doing this to other customers. They're just doing it to me. So that means they had to have somebody in their security department point out my presence and tell the manager to come interrogate me. This is not normal. This is strange communist behavior. It was bizarre. And they started asking me, why are you buying that? Why are you buying that? They want a copy of the receipt from the checkout counter girl, okay? And my girlfriend goes, wow, you were right. There's something strange going on here. And I said, yeah, I hope they're not trying to poison me. And she goes, oh, no, not in America. This is America. No one does that in America. She said, if you were in Russia, in a communist country, yes, they would poison your food and they would kill you. She says, in Russia, that's what they do. If you criticize corporations or the politicians, they'll just poison your food and kill you. I go, well, the Democratic Party is the American Communist Party. We've already got, mild, low-grade, slow poisons in the non-organic food. They've got aluminum and fluoride in the tap water. Those are slow poisons. The non-organic food, like let's say the soy, for example, is used as the protein source in processed food. It's poisoned with these slow poisons, glyphosate and hexane, quite often. The corn, which is the sweetener, high fructose corn syrup source for your processed food, that's poisoned with atrazine, mitochondrial inhibitor, feminizer. Okay, they put MSG, MFG in almost all the processed food. Those are feminizing chemicals and neurotoxins. Okay, hexane's a neurotoxin, glyphosate's a neurotoxin. Atrazine is a mitochondrial inhibitor. The avocados are now poisoned, with that A-pill covering. Who knows what other foods they're putting that avocado A-pill, Edapil, Organopil stuff on. They're spraying glyphosate on 70 different foods. Not a big step for them more to do this. And if they know you, they can track your car with a GPS. They can track what you buy. They should not be doing that. Okay, there's something very wrong and strange about it. And so I'm letting you know. That was bizarre. And she kind of still thought it was a joke, but she didn't think it was as much of a joke as she did before. So who knows what they're going to do next to the food supply.